Yeah, 5:30. Mike, do you want to lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks. Any additions or corrections to the agenda?
Want to do a roll call?
Yeah. Yes, I missed that.
Jenny David.
Yes.
Roger Mayhew.
Yes.
Charles Wiltie.
Present.
Craig Scott.
Here.
Mark Serwer.
Here.
Any additions or corrections, commissioners?
I
No.
have none. None.
Public comment. Any public comment in the room? Any public comment on the phone? Appointments. We don't have any, correct? Discussion items, consideration of a zoning text amendment 0425. Fabian?
Okay, this comes from the planning commission. They would like to reduce the amount of acres required for a planned unit development from 10 acres to 1.5 acres.
This is, I told you a little bit about after we had the discussion at the last meeting. There was a place of business in Rose City that left that place of business. It was actually the old McLaren building in Rose City, and the owner of the building wants to turn it into a duplex, but was unable to do that because of the 10 acres. So we had quite a bit of discussion and came up with changing this text amendment from 10 acres to 1 acre so that individual can change this to a duplex. It's on this corner of what is that? Campbell and
Rose City
Rose City Road.
Oh, old Bash's old office.
Yeah, McLaren building.
Hmm. Just didn't do a duplex, they called it a planned unit development. Wow.
Multi-unit.
Housing.
Given the housing situation in Ogemaw County, I think this is.
We had a lot of discussion as far as how many acres to go from 10, and we thought 1 was sufficient. They talked about a 1/2 acre. I'm like, So we went with 1.
1.5.
1.5? It was 1. Gosh,
Yeah.
whoops, 1.5.
Well,
We had a lot of discussion over it. I do recall that. What?
that's probably under a special use permit to have an office way out there. I wouldn't have thought that was a permitted use.
I don't want to speak because I don't remember.
Office out there, but then again, maybe when they put that in, it's been in for 30 years, maybe.
Moot point.
Yeah.
It's not there anymore.
They didn't have
So they had a couple of
the
these.
zoning they got now.
Did a couple of these buildings, it was the same owner that owned all of the local buildings that primary care used to rent, turned into McLaren, and they have since consolidated, so. The good thing was the Mills Township bought that one over there so these buildings are at least being put to use. Versus sitting.
Comment.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, as Commissioner Serbrick said, we know we have such a need for housing here in Ogemaw County. I mean, this could be something too, that there's other buildings in my head right now that I know have been vacant that very well could be turned into a duplex as well. So I think this would be a good move.
It is, and with the conversation, like, they still need to come to the zoning for approval, so. You won't see these going up everywhere or out of control or anything like that, so. Hey, consideration of opiate remediation service agreement with Catholic Human Services.
Right.
We have 3 of these. Can you
Yes,
combine them?
Yes, that's what I intend to do, B, C, and D. These are all related to grants that you approved out of the opioid funds last summer. And this is just formalizing them into agreements with District Health Department and Catholic Human Services. And the resolution will be authorizing the board chair to sign the agreements on behalf of the board. But these are projects that you've already approved the funding to.
Yeah, Fabian had reached out to me earlier this week and asked if this needed to be on the committee of the whole, because we already approved all of this, and I said, just to play it safe I'm sure that I know these funds are being monitored very closely, let's just make sure we do everything correctly. So, Commissioner Wiltz, did you have anything to add on this?
No, it's part of the process. So it's good to see that we're starting to make some movements here because that money needs to be spent for these right reasons to start helping. This drug situation we have here in the county, so.
Questions, commissioners?
No.
Consideration of a request to purchase 5 ballistic vests and outer carriers. Sheriff, Under Sheriff, come on up.
Cruise right through this tonight. Anyway, good evening.
Little mess.
Well, we've been at it
I like
for a while. We're getting pretty good.
So yeah, we have two discussion items. Number one would be if we could use some of that commissary money to purchase 5 vests for our transport team. And that total comes to $49.65. That's the outer carrier and also the ballistic vest inside that carrier.
Is this updating the vest?
No, this is for the correction transport
So
person.
they currently don't have them.
They have outdated ones, so this will be getting them into new. And adding a couple of them for when there's schedule changes.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
What's the current balance in that fund right now?
I didn't bring the actual cash balance, but the commissary fund, as far as expenditures, has a transfer in from the fund balance of $90,054, and there's $100,000 earmarked for that vehicle purchase discussion. So I think if we move that 5,000 from a vehicle purchase into, I think it's capital outlays, was what I've seen. Capital outlay equipment, we could pull the trigger on this and get 5 vests for the transports. And still have enough money to work, have the discussion on the vans down the road when my deal finally releases their prices.
Commissioner Scott.
Well, I don't have a problem with it. No, it's used for what exactly it's there for, so. To do with the inmates, so.
Commissioner Serbrook.
So didn't expense under use of the commissary funds, and they definitely need the vests.
Commissioner Mayhew. Okay. Good, I agree. Consideration of proposal for security at the county building.
Well, through our security meetings we've been having, the discussion was to let the sheriff's office take over security in this building. And with that in mind, we've got some training in place right now with our team over here now, but to take it over, we're proposing, and Paul did a great job on laying everything out as far as the cost effectiveness that we would have with that. But we're looking at, we would like to have 2 full-time deputies over here that is certified. One would be at the door in uniform and with a rover, another certified officer roving in between every one of these court procedures that takes place whenever the court is available. We had all 3 judges. They all agreed that what they felt that would be adequate for that. We had Commissioner Serbrook and Commissioner Wilsey involved in the meetings too. So maybe you can put a little bit of insight on that.
Yeah. So, we as a board, we've been briefed a number of times here the last 5 weeks, regarding, the meetings that we've had with court security and bailiffs, and there were some issues going on and we needed to get some things figured out, and that kind of brought to our attention that, there was a lot of more things needed, and that was trainings and consistent trainings and making sure we got the right people in place. So we've had a number of meetings, and the sheriff said the judges have been involved in those. So we've talked to all the people involved. We've looked around to other counties, which we do often. We look to see how other counties operate. Obviously, the security of our workers here in the building, the security of people coming in and out of the building is very important. And looking around the other areas, pretty much all other county buildings have at least one certified officer in uniform for building security. So it just opened up a lot of strategizing and starting to talk about, well, we really need to look at what we have and make some changes. And obviously that comes with a cost. You can see here for, 1 or 2 full-time deputies. But I really think that, sadly with the state we're in and the evil that's out there, and it seems like it's just worse and worse, we definitely need to upgrade our security, you know, here. In the county building, not only the employees we already have, which Paul's already been very proactive to start getting the correct training that they need and make sure that that training stays in place. But I really think it is important that we at least try to start off with one officer, see how that goes. But this is an important topic that we definitely need to get figured out. Mr. Serbrook, do you want to add to that or?
No, I just wanna, again, Paul's been fantastic in taking this on. And I commend him for all the effort that he's put into it. Just to say that, you know, I definitely want to see at least one certified officer in this building as well. We would not be removing the court bailiffs that we currently have. Hours would probably be cut because of this, but they would still physically be in the courtroom if we were to even have two officers. The one officer would, as the sheriff said, be a rover in the building as just as a general. And we kind of modeled this after Roscommon McCully, in all honesty. Roscommon has a certified officer at that door when they're open. And then they have another certified officer that's in the courthouse itself, in between the courts, and then just general roving, being a presence in the building. So, you know, like I said, I'd like to see at least one if we can financially do it. And this is the first time we've seen these figures, quite honestly. We asked the sheriff and the undersheriff's they could develop, so we had an idea as to what kind of costs we're talking about, and start the discussion from there. So here we are.
Mr. Mayhew.
What's the difference in cost gonna be? And you just finally got our full roster deputies, you told us. If you put two in here, you're gonna take them off the road,
No.
you're gonna get two new ones,
Yeah, that's what that,
and what's that gonna cost us?
well, we got it written right down there.
163. What is it now cost with the current budget?
For a deputy?
No, for what we currently have for
For security,
security.
Bailiffs,
Oh,
What's our total?
It's in a separate.
pull that up.
It's
like
yeah, it's a budget
thing.
He's got an estimated cost here of $163,760, correct?
Yeah, for the first year, that would be two deputies plus the establishing uniforms and equipment. The training costs for ammunition, which is, I think, is gonna be there regardless of what the final product is. The taser discussion for deployment. IT costs are gonna be pretty minimal, but I think that's gonna be part of the renovation. Moving the doors there to get the monitor up and that type of thing, so. Yeah, 74, 537, 22 was what the base, topped out deputy with fringes. That's the cost.
It would be an additional 163,000 to the current budget. It would be an extra
right,
163,000. Mr. Scott.
hard time getting enough to do the roads.
Well, I think generally, this might be a little bit easier because we'd be looking at a different type of certified officer, a retired certified, and actually we have three applicants that came through our office. So, I mean, we could start the interviews right away if we can pull the trigger on this. I don't foresee a huge problem, but you just never know. You know, it all depends on what kind of people we're interviewing.
The bailiffs are part-time, ain't they? They ain't full-time.
Right.
Correct.
Correct.
Well,
This is just based off, you know, the discussion of adding one or two full-time deputies
Right.
to what's already established there. Like the sheriff said, we just have three MCO certified deputies, two of them which have retired and still have a valid license within the last 3 weeks have applied. So,
I definitely agree with the training they are carrying in this facility. They need the training, not just a CPL. I agree with that 100%. What I would like to see is one full-time deputy as kind of like the hierarchy. This individual runs this. I agree, you guys, it's underneath of you guys, but whoever is in this position is the leader. I don't foresee it needing two full-time officers, one full-time officer to basically run this department. along with some other things that we may be talking about later, like safety things in the, which you and I talked a little bit earlier last week, I think it was. Other things that they could do duties in this building. Monitoring our safety equipment, our fire extinguishers, our AEDs, some other things that I'm sure that this individual could be responsible for, but I don't foresee 2 full times, but my concern as well is we've had a very difficult time filling those positions that residents are paying for. Now adding and looking for another deputy. Hopefully we're able to fill that, but it sounds like this department has been in a little chaos lately, and hopefully this will give them some leadership. Commissioner Scott?
Well, we got 7 months to go in this fiscal year. I imagine we'll have to take it from contingency to do this. 7 months, 2 officers would still cost us close to 100.
Over 100.
Well, 7 months left.
Yeah.
Yeah, little over 100. If it's 163 for the whole year, deduct 5 months.
Yeah.
Well, it'd probably take them a month to get something really rolling.
Get through the process.
Get through the hiring process and everything else, background checks, all that jazz. Of course, we wouldn't have to go through a month or 2 months of training, you know, if we hire veterans.
Right.
And then next year's budget, we'll have to take a look at, but I wouldn't mind starting out with 1 though. Myself, we're not bound by any statute or anything to have any security. It's been the commissioners who got the ball rolling about the level we're at, so.
Karen, go ahead. We do have to have statute.
We are statutorily required now to
Yeah.
have court security.
We are.
Well, yeah, court security, and we've had court security forever. We've never not had it.
I just want the public to know, you're saying we don't.
Okay,
You are
okay,
required. You
well,
are
in the courts, yes, we could move the damn
security.
metal detector back upstairs and do it like we did for 50 years before.
Right.
But
And we don't have 164,000 in contingency. So if you're going to consider this, you'll need to consider another source,
yeah,
not just.
well,
contingency.
there, yeah, and that's another thing, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
No, I recall all that when we started this. It was right when I came into office and we had to come up with a plan. I mean, we had a timeline, and that's when all of this came together. So I just think that this department needs a leader. As all the other departments has. So I think a full-time deputy is, see how it goes and other duties, and I think we can see if we can fund it.
Well, it sounds like the consensus that I'm gonna take those numbers and build a budget for 1 deputy. And kind of adjust that and get the rough numbers in the court security. We could build a budget adding 1 deputy to the.
Intern?
Well,
Oh, yeah, I don't know where they would be, you mean versus being in the union?
Oh, it'd be,
and it don't work, we'd have to get rid of it.
It's a deputy.
it would be a union.
Union.
Full time.
Would be union.
So that's why I just asked, and is if we put the leader of this security deal at will.
You can't.
Okay, I'm just.
But you have made a valid point that if we develop this position and then can't sustain it, then what? If they're in the union?
Well, it would be a layoff situation if the funding wasn't there to support it, or you'd have to take a look at, attrition and other factors that. When the time comes, if it does look like you're gonna have to pull that, so.
Getting a full-time deputy in there, will that decrease the hours for the bailiffs?
It will shift them around. You could see a decrease in certain things.
Should or will?
Should.
I like will better.
It's busy, though.
I think it will,
It should.
I really do. Because you won't have them staffed at that door. So that's 1 body you're not gonna need that we currently have.
They're still gonna be there. We didn't say where this full-time officer is gonna be. If they're
That's the
overseeing-
thought. The
If they're
thought is-
overseeing the department. I mean, I think that that's up to them. It's not mandated. But there's,
The first thing I guess would be to,
At night, there's not court, it's just us.
correct.
I think that can make a comment.
Go ahead.
So by looking at our bordering counties and, you know, that they have at least one full-time officer, I think the part of it too is having an officer at the door is just kind of that someone coming in there seeing, you know, a person in full uniform and it could possibly deter someone who maybe is thinking about being a little rowdy or not. So I think the full-time officer, since we are gonna only go one, I mean, obviously this isn't my department, but I would imagine you probably would want that officer at the front most of the time.
That was my thought.
That was,
Yeah, I just seen an officer, see, it, just like at the school officers walking around, they're not at the front door. But seeing an individual walk around the hallways in full uniform is to me a deterrent. So I see your point. It's just not.
Right, sure.
my thought process is, and I think we've already kind of discussed this. The deterrent, they start to walk in and they see a uniformed officer stand there and like, oh crap, and walk away. They don't even come into the building if they had, if they had some thought. If they're roaming around inside the building, now they're already inside the building. So the deterrent's right there at the entrance.
It'll be up to them to decide.
It would be, but
We don't
I
manage, but anyways, I'm okay with one, seeing if we can financially do it. Davian, can we?
So then you're looking for next week, resolution authorizing the hiring of a person along with a budget amendment, establishing a budget to fund it. Is that for one position?
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
work on that.
I'd really like to
See the-
nail down the job duties to this person. I like the idea of them being at the reception area, the public reception area, whatever you want to call it, out there in the hallway. That's where I want them to be. I don't want to hire just somebody to be a department head.
That would be my plan, is to put that certified at the front door.
Well, it's
For deterrent.
Jen saying it's up to him. Well, I don't want to even give that opportunity to him.
Well, it's ultimately up here.
Well, yeah, I think so.
can I make a comment to that?
Yeah, now you're done?
No, one other issue though. What about the union? Is somebody with higher seniority gonna want this job posted? I mean, if it pays the same as at the road deputy, somebody might be out there on the road, especially at night, and that doesn't want to work nights.
Good point.
And what happens then? And if you don't, then we're looking at a grievance. Because it's all seniority based, unless we go to the union and ask for a member
understanding.
an understanding, a letter of understanding saying that this is a unique position.
Yeah.
And we want to fill the different manner.
Within the union, the sheriff can appoint a person to a job duty, job. It's right in the contract.
Well, if I was a business agent, I would say this is a particular job assignment, and it has particular parameters, daytime hours.
Yeah.
Only during the week.
Yeah.
I don't have to work weekends anymore.
Or
So,
Or holidays.
or holidays,
And that's the question, what are you gonna do with them on holidays?
There's some thought to that, but
Right.
What do they do on a holiday?
When this building's closed on a holiday,
They stay home and get holiday pay,
just brought it up.
just like everybody.
You're bringing it up, so
Well, I'm just
popped into my brain too.
I'm just answering, it's like everybody that works in the offices here, we don't give them another job to do. But I'm concerned that, and I know your people and everything, but man, if I was the road deputy at night and I didn't want to work at night and I didn't like weekends, this is a gravy job. I mean, I don't mean gravy, it's easy and everything else, but it's got the hours that I'd like to have.
It's a good job. I'll go with that. It's a great job.
Yeah, I mean,
Be a question for the county attorney.
I would-
Now you brought it
Yeah,
up.
and I think part of the discussion is, are you going to limit this position only to working in this building? I know in Mason County, we have a full-time officer that's in the courthouse, but that officer also will fill in on weekends, in the evenings when if there's need for overtime to backfill.
Yeah.
So I think that should be part of the discussion because at this point, you have an issue with being able to backfill when people are off. And so I think you should have factor that flexibility into this position.
That's a good point, that there is that flexibility with that.
Commissioner, what's it?
I think Commissioner Scott brought up a great point, so thank you for doing that. But I do know we've had some very strong talks about this with the undersheriff, the sheriff, Commissioner Serbrook, Fabian, the judges. And you guys have been very steady and consistent with the fact that this officer will be at the front door or, front door / roaming a little bit. Yeah, this is not a position for us to pay $75,000 a year and an officer sits in a desk, to help tell the bailiffs what to do. I mean, this is a person that's working, the front door, doing some roaming, what have you, but you guys have been very adamant about the importance of that as well. And I don't see why you guys would change course from that, so.
No, that's where, if we're gonna have a problem, that's where the problem's gonna be, at that front door.
Right.
So then what would bailiffs do? If it's not a court day, will you need a bailiff in the building?
Yeah, it's possible you might not need a bailiff in the building if, like, a Fridays would be the prime example. There's not a whole lot that goes on Fridays, so
So why would you wouldn't need a
you
person?
wouldn't need a bailiff for court. You need it for court days.
Only.
So there's some discussions too. We were talking about uniforms. There's deployment. There's a couple of bailiffs that do have uniforms because of their multi-duties. So there could be the possibility of putting multiple uniforms in the building as part of the deployment model when it's finalized. So, but yes, on days without court, you're not going to need bailiffs because court's not going. So unless there's certain duties that need to be accomplished, those hours aren't going to be there.
But we'll need somebody at the front door, as long as them doors are open.
And that's what you're saying where this individual is gonna be. We don't need two people standing there or one person.
Well, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, then, if you do have 2 or 3 uniform bailiffs that have uniforms, that's your swingman for the guy when he takes the day off.
Well, yeah, that's what it could be,
Yeah.
take over the
That you,
front
Yeah.
door or.
Yeah, if he has a sick day or takes a vacation.
It's very important, I believe, to have that uniform.
Yeah.
That uniform needs to be at that front door.
And so I think before this, I agree with Commissioner Scott as well. I'd like to see more on this job posting. Pardon me?
Well, we need to talk to the union. I don't want to do this and then all of a sudden
Yeah, I want
get our legs chopped out underneath us.
job duties.
It's a great deal, yeah, and I like the idea of hiring a veteran officers from someplace. I get the incentive to do it, but then again, we're working in a union atmosphere. I could easily see a grievance coming down the line.
Fair, that's fair.
You know.
You got a good point.
I also want to make sure that it's not going to take away from, after you guys talked to the union, one of our road deputies, when we just started offering 24-hour service back to our residents that are just paying their taxes right now. So I want more information and I think we're moving forward, but before a final decision is made, I want more information.
So if I understand it correctly, the union is the first between the union question and the county attorney. We'll ask both them as far as the union. And then job description as far as what the duties would be. At least that gives us direction that we're kind of looking at a one deputy type scenario so we can build kind of the model based off of that. And then we can work on the budget as far as what numbers, how one deputy would affect the current budget.
Where it's going to come from.
Yep.
I think when you call the attorney, just go ahead and let Ben Nordstrom there, what's his name? Matt, just have him contact the union. Since he was our negotiator, union talks anyway, he already has that rapport with the agent and everything. Just explain the whole job to him.
Do that in conjunction, maybe if we can get a job description built.
And then can you come back with the next committee of the whole?
Yeah, maybe we can make this a specialty
Okay,
position.
Absolutely right, but that would be a question for the county attorney and then to go back and forth with the, so, and I think that would be dependent on what the job description was.
Yeah.
You know, sheriff indicates in the contract that there is a clause that the sheriff appoints, but like you said, there's also seniority and seniority rights that could play a factor, which I agree, it could lead to agreement, so.
And, you know, a grievance is kind of like a lawsuit. You know, anybody can sue you. Well, anybody can write a grievance.
are you part of this discussion about the creation of a safety committee?
That was Commissioner.
Oh, okay, thanks,
Okay,
guys,
more to come.
more to come,
Thank
goodbye.
Oh,
What? What?
Compensation, we talked about we didn't get that on the agenda for the depositions and pre-deposition.
Oh, that's not on here, is it?
Yeah.
So do you want to talk about it now? You're sitting here. You
Yeah.
want to kind of brief everybody?
I'm wondering, we have that ongoing lawsuit, civil lawsuit with the jail situation from 2022.
Yep,
The pre-depositions and depositions that have been trying to take place, it's been a pretty turmoil type circumstance, but with several cancellations. But the depositions involve two retirees, three retirees, and two laid off employees. So I contacted the county attorney, and the county attorney said it is appropriate to reimburse separated employees retired and laid off for the time that they spent involved in this deposition and civil battle. So it was
it wasn't much.
1,300.
No, it's four. I thought it wasn't it 4,000?
No, it wasn't much. We talked about it at the Personnel Committee last Friday, and Commissioner Serbrook and I both agreed that absolutely.
They were performing county duties. It's, you know, they're essential to the lawsuit against the county.
It's 4,000
You
something.
know,
It wasn't that much.
I
I
didn't think it was that much either.
thought it was 1,400.
That's what I thought, was just over 1,000.
our deposition's over with now?
No, not even
So
close.
we're midstream then.
Mine's Monday.
There's,
We're just saying up until this point, we're spending this.
Yeah.
amount. We may spend this
we'll,
amount more.
we'll probably spend more, yes,
Well,
unless.
it depends on the direction that I expect at some point that the county attorney representing us in the civil suit come and give a briefing like they always do as far
Oh,
as
yeah.
status updates and everything. But majority of people that are in layoff status and or retired, when I say layoff, obviously we're past that, but we're laid off at the point this took place. We're done. Majority of people that are left for depositions are
For
employees,
employees.
with the exception of one. One of the retirees is still, hers has been adjourned twice on her now. She's been a part of three pre-deposition meeting, getting ready for deposition. So there's one retiree left that would fall into this situation. The rest of them have already completed their depositions. So this will be a one-time cost for two of the retirees and one of the laid off. The second laid off was, I don't know if they're gonna bring him back or not, they canceled it halfway through, but there is money. Sorry, I didn't have this at the top of my piles of stuff
You
here.
remember, Fabian, how much it was? You recall?
I thought it was in 2,300 range.
We're all,
We're all over the map, aren't we?
it wasn't much. We were surprised by how much it was, but to me, it was a no-brainer. I mean, these individuals are doing this for the county.
I can send it. Oh, wait.
They're having to travel.
Oh,
Are they having to go to big cities? Is that what you told us, Paul?
no, not yet. Most of them have all been by Zoom.
Oh.
I got an update today. You're right.
Big city,
That was a possibility.
they're going to federal court, right?
Yeah, it's in federal court. That's where it is, but that's not $1,342.38.
Jenny, you and I were pretty close. You were.
You remember better than I did.
Hey, I'll take that win.
So that's for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 employees. 1, 2, 3 have completed it. The one employee has been canceled. And then the other laid off employee was canceled mid deposition and may be recalled. So there'd be two left that could affect it. In the part-time budget, which is kind of where I figured if it was decided we were gonna compensate for what's going on. We've only used 16.41% in that budget. Just under 5,000. To date, we budgeted 30,000. So there's 25,000 remaining in that. So I figured that would be the line item that would be, if the decision is made to compensate them for. And I think they deserve it. It's an unfortunate circumstance that this led to this civil, and they definitely, they've been put through the ringer as a part of it, so. And I just factored out the hours that they had into it, put it at the wages of two of them, what they were making at the time, and the rest of them, I factored in the current wage for a correctional officer. So that's how I came to that, so.
Comments? Any, are you guys okay with that?
Yeah.
Hey, thanks, Paul.
Thank you.
Discussion about the creation of safety committee. Is that you, Commissioner Wilson?
Like, we brought this up, after our last building security meeting, and Tracy had brought up a few questions, regarding some of our safety stuff and fire extinguishers, first aid kits, and, we really don't have anybody that's, really consistently watching over that stuff. So I think it was our next committee whole meeting, I just brought it up and said that we would talk further about it, in the near future. And to me, it kind of sounds like, obviously this new position, I think you had brought that up earlier in the meeting. This new deputy, I think, could handle some of those items. It would be just a matter of, I don't know, quarterly and having a spreadsheet and checking things off, between the AEDs and the fire extinguishers. And but I think we should have a safety committee, and it could be real simple. It could be right after our building security meeting, which Commissioner Serbrook's on with me. We meet quarterly. Anybody else that would want to stay on as a safety meeting, it could be 10, 15 minutes. We could make sure that, we're talking about what items we need to be discussing in regards to those items that maybe this new deputy will also be part of. I think we could just keep it simple and just add it right onto those quarterly building security meetings. Commissioner Serbrook, do you agree with that? Or?
I do. And something that Tracy brought up, and I think it would be a good idea, that part of, she sat on a safety committee in a previous employer that she was employed with, and they would review incidents that happened at that safety meeting, the safety committee. Slip and falls, things like that, and try and formulate a plan for abatement, so it doesn't kind of thing doesn't happen again. So I think it'd be beneficial. And again, we meet quarterly, and I think it just makes sense.
Fabian?
I agree with what they've said.
Commissioner Scott?
I don't want to just roll it right in with the security. If you're gonna keep referencing somebody we hire for security, it's just all in that.
I would say security, change security to security / safety. That's where I was going
Yeah,
with that too.
yeah, me too. Security / safety. You're talking only a 15-minute meeting afterwards. We don't have to build all the brand new committee for that.
Minutes and everything. I agree.
Yeah, just put it all, make it on your agenda that you move into the safety side of it. I think your quarterly inspections, monthly wouldn't be bad, but it's just a checklist. You're going down, check all your fire extinguishers in the building and those different safety items. But yeah.
How often do they do the emergency response over here? Does 911 do that?
We got a guy that's come in and talk to us and they'll tell us about that.
See the building, like the buttons.
We have it, the same meetings are.
Quarterly? Yeah, you guys are on the safety committee, or on the security. I think I agree with Commissioner Scott. And I would bring that up with them at the next meeting if everybody in the meeting is okay with.
Yeah, we did. That's what we did. We wouldn't necessarily have to have everybody that's involved in the security, because the judges may not want to be involved on the safety side of it.
So do it at the end of the meeting.
That's what we talked about. That's what.
No, the judges may.
I just said they may not.
The security.
I agree.
So,
It's basically the same thing we were saying. That's fine.
yeah. Okay, Mike Bowers to discuss job duties for Ogemaw County. Come on up, sir.
How are you guys doing?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Nice to see you.
Yes, it's good to see you guys.
You just
So-
by yourself or?
So, well, Pete Paxton's here, my primary volunteer, absolutely. Come on up, Pete. He's just a little shy.
He's got a little voice, so am I.
Yeah. I
You have the
can't
floor.
believe you were ever shy.
Mr. Bowers, you have the floor.
So, Charlie asked me last week to come in tonight and kind of sort of give you guys a little bit of what I've been doing and where I plan on taking some of the things from emergency management. Some of the discussions you guys had already tonight are of interest and definitely linked to what I do, especially when it comes to the safety stuff. I'm just now finding out that several of the things that emergency management has done to try to enhance safety and security in the building are not being watched and maintained. I was unaware that had ever been happened, that nobody was taking care of that. Charlie and I just had a conversation a couple weeks ago. The fact that I had noticed that all of our evacuation signs and everything on the second floor are, some of them are missing again already. And, just little things like that, that somebody in the building, like you guys were just talking about, with an officer or the maintenance department, having a checklist that's either monthly or quarterly and going through and making sure that the signs are all in place and the fire extinguishers are operational. A really big deal over the last month has been the AEDs, and that AED situation is actually worse than you guys realize. So the batteries and the pads on those AEDs have been expired for 2 years. Yeah, so I mean, nobody has ever checked them. And I was unaware that anybody was, that nobody was checking them. I get the equipment, I help get it installed, and then I'm done with that, moving
You
on.
come back 2 years.
Yeah, I'm doing the next project, so I'm not following up, 6 months later, a year later, 2 years later. I thought somebody physically in that location was taking care of, what we had procured. So, that's obviously an issue. Sounds like you guys are on top of it. I'm willing to participate and assist and help however you guys want with any of that from me. I have no problems. But what I had prepared for you, I gave you all a sheet of paper, or some of the things I prepared of what's been going on here of recent. So we've procured an 800 radio, 800 megahertz radio for the clerk's office. And this is for election security. And the clerk's office is actually required to do two separate radio communications during the election period, one a test trial and then a verification on election day. So, and previously, they've always just had to find and borrow a radio from law enforcement. Now they're gonna actually have their own radio that is set up for them to have, and they'll actually have it all the time. So Breck would actually be able to go to hold of Lansing literally at any time, day or night, in theory, if she were need to, 365. So, 2 years ago, we did a CERT conference. We did a one-day CERT conference. We did it up at the Quality Inn, and we paid a lot of money for it at the Quality Inn. It was all grant money. The county put the money forward, and then we got 100% of the money back 2 years ago. We skipped it last year because it didn't seem to be a lot of interest. We picked it back up again this year. I've talked to Ogemaw Hills Church. They are going to let us use their facility. They've asked for a small donation for the maintenance and taking care of cleanup afterwards. They have a beautiful facility. Anybody who has not been in there, we're going to be able to do all of our breakout sessions into individual rooms in the afternoon. So we're gonna be doing emergency electric and gas response safety, sheltering by the standards of the American Red Cross, because when we set up a shelter, so the American Red Cross can take up to 24 hours to actually get a shelter up and running for you. But the emergency management and the volunteer CERT team group has made it a point to learn the American Red Cross's sheltering requirements. And we can set up a shelter in a matter of an hour or two sometimes. I would say 3 hours at the most to be able to get a shelter set up. I've never been more than 2 hours getting a shelter set up to be able to start taking people in. So, but by being on the American Red Cross standards, we are able to just literally turn it over to them when they come in. And by doing it this way, we take that liability off of the county for all the liabilities for sheltering. We use the Red Cross's facility use forms and documents. So they take control over the whole thing. As I'm pretty sure you guys are all aware, I'm an American Red Cross governmental liaison. So I'm able to do that stuff on the American Red Cross side instead of the emergency management side. So we are doing the FBI's run, hide, fight for active shooters, and we're also doing bleeding control. We're doing some search and rescue stuff with GPS mapping and handheld GPS. We're training people with that. I don't know if you guys remember, but we recently got some handheld GPSs and we already had a few. So this will be good training for the volunteers. We've got the National Weather Service coming down. They're going to do a weather spotter training for tornado weather spotter in spring storms. It's during that time of the year where they do this anyway. This is going to hopefully give them a much larger audience than they would have gotten otherwise. We're also doing some handheld fire extinguisher practical practice. The American Red Cross has a simulator for a handheld fire extinguisher. So it's an opportunity for people who may end up being in those situations to actually get some hands-on. This is how you do it. As far as the county building AED pads and batteries, like I said, I didn't realize that they had been expired. They are ordered. They are on their way. I was able to use a company that I have used several times. And they allowed us to just go ahead and use a PO and purchase them and then pay for them 30-day net. So when they arrive, I'll get the invoice and I'll turn it into the clerk's office for payment. So as far as you are all concerned, so some of these AEDs, they were purchased on a grant, but then they were distributed to the county, MSU, and the courts. So the replacing the maintenance of the batteries and the pads are up to however you guys want to do for the distribution of how those costs are. So
Courthouse and grounds.
I'm sorry?
I would think it would cover courthouse and grounds.
Yeah. So I do expect those in next week sometime, of which I will personally come in and exchange all of that and make sure you guys know that they're all ready to go. We did have, so a month ago, when we found out that this was an issue, the friend of the, I believe it was in the friend of the court, there's AED started chirping. And I just happened to have a battery left over from other stuff that I do. So I was able to bring that battery in and get that one up and operating. But sometime over the last week, the one in the hallway upstairs started chirping. So Chris removed it. He didn't actually, I don't think he actually notified anybody that he removed it. Leanne just noticed it was gone. She found out that it was sitting in on his desk. Charlie found out about it today. He contacted me. I talked to Chris. Chris and I talked, and he's, oh yeah, he says it was chirping, so I just brought it down here. Didn't know what else to do with it. I suggested to him he take the one out of probate court. There's also an AED in the probate court under the shelf at the service window. So I suggested to him to take that one and put it in the public spot for now until we get, so we are down one of our 7 AEDs. Currently, we only have 6 that are actually in service still. And so I also have 4 AEDs that have been approved and are in the grant process for the sheriff's department for patrol cars. Once they get those, they're gonna take an AED, and we have to buy the cabinet because I wasn't able to include a cabinet into the grant process. So we'll have to buy a cabinet. They're roughly $100 to $150, depending on the model you want to buy. And we're going to put one of those AEDs over at the airport. I have a grant. I've already been approved. We've already done the initial quotes and everything for $2,500. That's how we ended up with 136 tourniquets. I'm getting cat tourniquets, which are by far the best tourniquets available. They're used by all the military services in the United States. We're getting 136 of them. We're distributing them out to the schools. It's going to make for approximately 15 more tourniquets in each school. Most schools will have 30 to 40 tourniquets on location, distributed in different places. These tourniquets are intended to be kept in a bag in the office. When you start looking at active shooters, especially in the school situation, the active shooter situation ends up being 1, 2, maybe 3 rooms or a hallway in a close area. And then the rest of the building is not actually physically affected by the active shooter by the time the event's over with. So the original ideas were to put a tourniquet kit in each classroom. Well, this means if we've only got a couple classrooms involved in an event, we have to run around the entire school to gather up tourniquets to take care of the people in that one small area. If we have tourniquets in the main office, then somebody can just grab that bag and run that bag down to that location. So, and in the meantime, being able to have a tourniquet in every classroom is definitely ideal, but it's a very expensive venture. So I also have tourniquets, I believe, on page 2. I believe, yeah, so tourniquet for the volunteers. So I got another grant, $3,000 grant. That grant is actually for operations of the conference. So we can not charge for the conference and feed them lunch and have a morning snack and an afternoon snack for them. Pretty standard conference stuff. And then we're going to take, and I've committed to buying 50 tourniquets, and we're going to try to buy some other bleeding control supplies to go with it. I already have bags that we're going to be able to put this into, and we're going to give these away to the volunteer first responders, so they will have this equipment for when they need to first respond to a situation. So last fall, especially Janelle and Tim worked with me. Janelle was the one that actually brought it up. I believe you guys already signed it. We did an employee emergency action guidelines. And
Danielle.
Danielle, I'm sorry, Danielle. And we did the emergency action guidelines for the county employees. This is intended to tell a county employee what they're supposed to do in a situation. So it was intended for it to go to all of the current employees and educate them on it. And then every new hire that comes into the county will receive this as part of their new hire package. So they will know, and it's safety stuff for all hazards, responses for literally any individual, no matter who you are or where you are. And I just recently, none of that got distributed. None of these things that we have increased our capabilities with have actually been distributed, and it's very disturbing. It's proof for the need for the safety committee, somebody making sure that, you know, the final steps are done.
Question with that, I mean,
Sure.
there. So would that follow through be up to you on that? To make sure that that is happening? I mean, you're the one quarterbacking this, right?
Well, I'm quarterbacking getting it done, getting it finished, but
I wouldn't think it'd be disseminated.
I
His
mean,
duty to disseminate it to the employees, I think that should have been probably the county administrator. It was developed in coordination with the county administrator / controller, and I think it should have been up to him to.
yeah, I believe,
The,
and it was all in timing when Tim was getting ready to leave also.
That wasn't that long ago then,
No, this was.
though, that you're
So,
talking.
I'm talking, September, October, maybe November. I believe when we got this done. So, I mean, I can take on these responsibilities, but taking on these responsibilities are going to take away from other work that I do. And I'm sure you guys aren't interested in a full-time emergency management coordinator at this point.
Yeah, I'm just talking more about, I mean, simple follow-up to see
Yeah.
if things are in place where they need to be. I understand maybe somebody dropped the ball.
Oh, hey, I'll take full credit for, you know what? I could have made a couple simple phone calls and said, hey, you know, is this happening? Is that happening? And I did not. And, you know, lack of foresight, moving on, whatever. I can give you a million excuses and they're all just like anybody's excuses. I won't do it. So no, I'll definitely take that, you know, I could have done more there. I just didn't.
I think that's all we're saying, and I don't think it warrants a full-time emergency manager, but
Yeah.
every 30 days, call around, see if this is happening. I don't know.
Yeah. No, no argument. No argument. I can do better there. I won't argue.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, so, and then at the same time or directly thereafter, we put the county buildings emergency operations plan into place. And that was a plan for the department heads to manage their areas during a situation and make sure for accountability, so we don't lose anybody. And we make sure that we're pulling the people in out of the hallways if necessary, those types of things. Just kind of sort of a making sure that everybody's taken care of, you know, one more step. And I do not believe that got distributed. I had this conversation just before I went on vacation. I had this conversation with sorry, well, I draw a blank on names.
Senior moment.
Yes, senior moment.
It's okay, we can move forward.
Yeah.
Deputy clerk.
Tracy?
Tracy, thank you. So I had this conversation with Tracy just before I left to go on vacation, you know, 2 weeks ago. And she said, no, we don't have this. No, we don't have that. So I started asking more questions and my intent was to come back, get caught up and, start looking harder into these things. So we revamped the local planning committee and the local planning team, the emergency planning committee. So this is one, the emergency planning committee is the hazmat stuff. And then the local planning team is what are we going to do to mitigate and create better security for the community? Some of the things would be like making plans for the county fair or the art shows or our parades. I am not aware of a group of people in the county, in any of the counties in the area, doing that kind of work. And this is where that kind of work would be. So I can tell you for the last 5 years, it has been a real struggle to get more than 3 to 5 people at any of these meetings up until recent this summer when I revamped it and I put out bylaws. I created a set of bylaws and I sent them out to all these people. People started getting interested in what we're doing. I've had 2 meetings with more than 12 to 15 people in them. Since then, these are quarterly meetings. So I believe that we have the right groups of people coming. EPA states what disciplines the LEPC should be part of, what disciplines should be part of the LEPC. And we have all of those people invited now. And we do have ratified bylaws. And we are starting to actually make some progress. We have officers in order to give the group some direction. So I think we're going to see a lot of progress from the LEPC and the local planning team as we move forward in the future. Our next meeting is March 18th. So I plan to do ICS tutoring for ICS 100, 200, 700, and 800. A few of you are familiar with that at least. But in order to get into the disaster level incident management and control, a person has to have these 4 classes to be able to get into one of those classes. Each of these classes are online. They're approximately 3 to 4 hours. A lot of that depends on your electronic savvy and your knowledge of military/first response. So they're all military/first response based type education of how incident command works, being able to contract and expand according to the needs. So, and then I have a plan for ICS 300 course. That's a 3-day course. That is expanding incidents. So that would be an incident lesser than the 25 ice storm. So I don't know, you guys remember the tornado about 15 years ago, kind of sort of cut through West Branch and down across over towards Lupton. So that was an expanding incident. It's the last really expanding incident I can think of here in Ogemaw County. It was far less than the ice storm, but at the same time, it was a lot more than a few people taking care of a house or business or a traffic accident. And through our EMS, law, fire, governmental officials, we're really weak in the category of an emergency operations center. And the functions at that level of incident management, the people don't necessarily have the training. It's been being offered, it's offered all the time. But it's a difficult thing for people to get to. Everybody wears so many hats up here. So, anyhow, by me offering the tutoring for these 4 classes, I might be able to fill an ICS 300 class. So the last ICS 300 class we had here was just about a year and a half ago now. And we had 2 people from Ogemaw County attend that class. It has a minimum of 10 people. And from the entire region up north, I had 4 people that came to that class from downstate, Saginaw, Flint, Genesee County area, and had 2 of those 4 people not come to the class, we would have had to cancel that class as we did the year before. So, I see this as a potential to maybe assist people in getting what they need. And finally, I am planning a fire drill for this building here in March. I've talked with security a little bit. I've talked with the courts a little bit about it. We haven't set a date or anything. So according to our emergency operations plans, so during a fire drill, everybody in the building has to leave and go over to the MSU building. All the department heads need to make sure that they're taking any equipment, supplies, or whatever that they might need with them. And they need to do a head count of everybody in their part of the building, their room, before they leave. And then when they get over to the MSU building, they're supposed to do another head count. It's very important that everybody in the building goes to the MSU building. Nobody goes home or does anything else, because that creates a problem with the head count. The head count's so important. So law enforcement, EMS, and fire know what they're facing when they get here. Another problem with that is we do it during business hours, so everything gets shut down here. I mean, it's simple enough to take the guy guarding the door and leave him here. We know it's a fire drill. We can keep the building secured. That's not an issue. But what about constituents, people, the public coming in? So I've done this down in Standish. They're considerably slower than we are here as far as the public coming in. At least when I'm in their building. We did it right after the building opened. And we did it on a day that was expected to be slow. And it worked fine. But, I don't know how well employees will take it. I don't know how well department heads will take it. It can bounce back saying, well, this is, not necessarily a good thing, but it is a good thing. And it's something we've never had. And I hear people asking for things like fire drills or an active shooter drill, or, some of these emergencies that we might need. And it's not a big deal for me to put them on, but it may be a big deal when I do.
Well, I guess I'm gonna intervene here because I don't think it's a matter of if an emergency occurs, it's gonna happen.
Well, yes.
When? I'm training. I don't think there's anything better out there than first aid training and CPR. Any emergency is going to need those basic things. And you talk about like tourniquet in the schools, which is fantastic, but if somebody doesn't know how to use it, it's no good.
So I do trainings there on a regular
This
basis.
is what I'm gonna intervene here is I'd like to see it more present, like in offering these trainings and again, I'm gonna go back to, it's not if it's gonna happen, it is going to happen. It's just when. Whether it's a
agree.
tornado, a flood, a shoot, whatever, it's
Something is always going to happen.
going to happen. The more people, I understand all these conferences and minimal participations, that occurs here. It's the way the world is. But the more people we can train, kids, adults, the better. That's my biggest thing that I am a huge advocate of, is training with first aid, CPR, so they are able to help in any situation, in every situation.
So I'm always at schools and public events and literally just anywhere I can get myself into to do any kind of safety training and education on a regular basis.
And as far as, and I'm gonna
Between
interview
myself
one more
and
time, as far as these checkoffs, and that we have to do that every year, that's part of
Yeah.
and we have to do one fire drill a year, it's mandatory.
Right.
Doesn't matter, they tell us when we're gonna do it and give us a time frame, and it will be done, or you won't be back to work the next day.
Fantastic.
In these checkoffs that with fire safeties, the fire, all of that is in our annual, learning educational stuff.
Yes.
So, to me, that's a must. I mean, all of this stuff not being distributed, I didn't realize it hadn't been. Shame on us, I guess.
We can put the blame on me. I don't have a problem.
We gotta find a way to solve this. Obviously, it's a problem. We figure that out. You're sitting here. I appreciate you coming, and we have to figure out a plan moving forward.
Well, you're talking about you're wondering how department heads are gonna take it. We have a regular department head meeting within this building, and it's very well attended. And that's been going on monthly. It's been going on for 2 years. That is very, very good. I don't know where you've been.
Probably not aware of it. Have you been aware of the department head meetings?
You watch our meetings at all?
No, I do not.
You don't?
No, I do not.
Oh, geez, just for the entertainment value, anything.
Commissioner Wiltie?
I mean, I mirror what Commissioner David said. I mean, these programs are spearheaded by you. And I think there needs to be follow-up. I mean, you're seeing now that these programs have never moved anywhere, and these are very important, especially in this age that we live in.
Absolutely.
So I'm asking for you for more follow-up. I think more attention to detail on that and consistent follow-up is needed. And, you know, Mike, I've served with you on a few committees, and, you know, we've had some really good conversations. And, you know, I'll just be blunt here. I brought up, you know, when I see what you make per month and our county residents are paying, and I want to make sure we're getting the best we can out of you. And I mean, the follow-up alone, I think, is something that you should be responsible for. And I would like to see that, make sure that these programs are in place ASAP. The work's been done and it's just sitting on somebody's desk. It needs to get done.
Commissioner Serbrook?
Is there a database for ICS? Can you take and put somebody's name in and see what ICS classes they've had?
No,
There is not.
no,
So
No, if-
Management Lansing doesn't have that.
no. You can request it from FEMA. You can request yours from
Mhm.
FEMA. They may or they may not have it. They do not have a list of your courses that you took in-person courses. The only list of courses that
They have
FEMA has
online.
are the online courses. If you go through the Michigan State Police website to connect to FEMA, of which all of my volunteers do, then it does get recorded with Michigan State Police. Other than that, it's up to the individual.
Okay.
Commissioner Mayhew?
Not, all I know about that training is I was on the fire department for probably over 20 years, 25 years. And I don't know how many times I've had that training, resuscitator Annie and all that. And to this day, I wouldn't want to try it. And I bet I've had that 25 times.
We want to try what?
CPR.
Somebody.
You better try.
Well, I'm just saying, if somebody else, I'm gonna stand back.
Well, we've got AEDs.
So more so than that training, I'm talking about
But what I'm saying is this training, if they don't do it every year, it's,
Use it or lose it.
there you go.
Well, that's what I'm talking about, presence. I mean, the retention, repeating,
Yeah.
that's so important.
I mean, I understand that. I've had it a whole lot of times, but I'm not gonna get out of the way, so I.
Correct. And you know, these incident command trainings are a one and done. And you move on to the next training, the next level of training. It's expected that you're going to use them either at some level in your daily life and your job, and or you're going to use them doing exercises. And use those skills that way.
Can you, if it fits in your schedule, can you attend the next department head meeting and talk to the department heads and
Yes, I
come
can.
up with a plan moving forward?
I will be glad
See what
to.
their needs are?
I will
want.
be glad to.
Perfect, thanks.
You know,
Oops, go ahead.
I think. Well, let's take right off of the program here, but our discussion before was. Can you just give us the quick could be the term, response about what your job entails. What is an emergency manager do for the county?
So, for FEMA, MSP, EMHSD, I keep the county, in good standing with MSP and FEMA. I put together operations plans and hazard mitigation plans, and I educate, I do exercises. I try to do trainings. I take care of daily situations. You know, 2 days ago, I got a phone call from dispatch saying that they thought they had an oil spill and they didn't know what to do or who to call out. And I mitigated that, and it was a situation I was actually able to go on scene for. And I coordinate with all of our emergency response people. I try to have regular conversations with them. You guys all know how dedicated I am at trying to find grants to come up with, you know, emergency first response stuff. That's definitely one of my strengths.
And we appreciate that.
Oh, I know.
I'm just asking, what does an emergency manager say in Barriga County do? He does the same thing you do. Different things
Yeah.
happens within that. There's some variables, I get that, but there's a basic job description of an emergency manager, right?
Yes,
Because we don't pay anybody unless we know that they have a job description.
correct.
So that's all I'm asking. You know, it isn't that we don't think you're doing a good job. We just,
Right. No.
I think that we all come right from the public and we just want to know. I got a good idea about it.
Yeah, and you know, I'm not very good at coming in here and sitting in here and telling you guys what I'm doing or what I'm not doing.
But it would be nice for quarterly updates.
Yes,
I think that's fair on both ends.
yes. After I talked to Charlie last week for the next hour in the car on our way back from out west, I got scolded by my wife over exactly that. So what do you mean you don't do that quarterly? So
Just an update. We'll keep it quick and short and then that way we can also, if there's any needs that we hear, we can converse them to you. Communication.
as I've always worked hard for you guys, and I know you all already know that,
We do.
I will work really hard at improving your concerns.
Thank you.
So how many other counties are you doing this for?
Just 2 now. So at one point for about a year and a half, I had 4 counties. I had picked up Iosco County primarily because they didn't have anybody and they needed somebody to, and we were able to find somebody. I spent 4 or 5 months training him, and now he is actually a partner, a comrade, and so Christopher Martin does a really nice job over there. And I have had 3 counties since 9 months after I started working in Ogemaw County.
What other county do you have right now?
Aranac and Oscoda.
So you have 3 in Ogemaw.
Correct. Aranac,
I
Oscoda.
thought you said 2, I'm sorry. Sir, what did you have to say?
I was just saying, excuse me,
It's okay.
voice. But it's been about 3 years ago, this area had one person to act in an emergency situation of what to do. We now have 3 because Mike has taken people like myself that have an interest in helping our communities and saying, hey, let's build something, make things stronger. So Mike has definitely been a very strong force over the last 3 years. And now Mike couldn't have gone on vacation, as I just did, if it weren't for having the backups like myself and Stephanie. Okay, what would have happened if we would have had a major disaster?
Right.
We wouldn't have had anybody. That's because of Mike bringing us into the fold and such. So yeah, I would say Mike's been a very strong force with the county.
Perfect. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
We'll be
Thank
in
you all very much.
contact. Discussion concerning the oversight of the maintenance department.
Oh, well, have Mike sit down, maybe we'll give that job to him.
I don't want to.
I actually, Damon, I had asked you about this, I think, and I actually got an email on it. Were you able to look into that? What's the statute behind that?
As far as,
I got it. Hang on. Go ahead.
are you talking about as far as being able to look at contracting?
Oh, darn it. No, I was talking about who is responsible for the maintenance department. It has to be, I read a statute on it, was sent to me. I gotta find it. That it is the county administrator.
Typically, the county administrator oversees the department, but the department typically will have a department head that oversees the day-to-day operations.
The controller shall be the custodian of and have charge of the operation, maintenance and repairs of the county courthouse and grounds, including any power, heating, or lighting plant in connection therewith, and in like manner, the repairs of the county jail. That's a statute that got sent to me. Somebody sent it to Tom Spencer. Do you want to elaborate on that?
Well,
He sent it
be
to
able to
me.
delegate somebody if he wanted to.
Point by the Board of Supervisors compensation. I just skimmed over it, but that's the part that was highlighted. So I thought it was statute that you had.
And I guess in response to that, I've never been an administrator. I mean, excuse me, I've been an administrator, but I've never been a controller. So the model that I'm familiar with is that the administrator oversees the non-elected departments. Obviously, maintenance is one of those departments. And so in my role in Mason County, I had a maintenance department head that oversaw the day-to-day operations. And I made sure that that department ran correctly from that standpoint. So that's.
Commissioner Wiltse, you want to take the lead on this?
I know I've been here for 3 years now, and there's been a number of different times throughout those 3 years, where I would ask Tim, certain questions about maintenance and, again, our lack of leadership overseeing, the maintenance and janitorial positions. And, Tim did make it very clear that it was his responsibility, but he didn't want that responsibility, and he focused on the other parts of his job and basically just kind of had that responsibility, but really didn't do much with it. I mean, no consistent meetings and trainings, and we all know that there's been personnel issues and animosity and problems for how long, and we just continue to let that go on, and it's just like we're doing with the bailiffs right now. I mean, it's time. We need to get this figured out.
Agreed, 100%. There's a lot of turmoil between the maintenance and the housekeeping. I've had some conversations with Fabian, so I guess I'm going to. I talked about ideas. How possibly outsourcing services. I think our job as far as commissioners is to, all of our avenues as far as costly services, to our constituents. Just seek costs, not saying it's definitely gonna go in that direction, but, I don't know, since you've been on the board, has there ever been any,
Privatized anything?
yeah,
Mhm.
an example,
Remember, but I know we discussed it different times. I'm not opposed to privatizing some tasks that need to be done. Lawn mowing.
yep,
This shoveling the snow off the sidewalk, I don't know why our snow removal guys don't do it.
I had it on my
That
list
should,
too.
that should be right in the contract. My gosh, I watch them all over the place. I mean, Finished Concrete does pinnacle therapy where I go Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and they're right on the sidewalk cleaning it off and salting it.
They do the annex.
They don't the county building,
They don't, I'm just saying that they do.
not in their bid.
Okay, well, I don't know, but well, we got another bid coming up.
Mhm.
Maybe that's what we should be looking at. You know,
Lawn
Yeah.
care, I agree with you 100%.
yeah.
Needs to be,
I know you can say, well, you're still paying the guy 40 hours to be here, or how many hours there is in a week. I'm not gonna debate that. But you're still gonna have them here full time, and then you're gonna take these duties away and then pay somebody to do those. You got that reasoning, but then again, are we not getting things done? Well, sometimes we're not. I don't know. I mean, are some of these non-actions need discipline, and we don't do that either. So people, that if somebody doesn't do something and you don't correct it, they're not gonna change on their own. They're gonna just keep doing what they've been doing.
well, another couple of examples is I've been walking through the county building at times and I see things going on, vacuuming in the middle of a workday, cleaning, dusting in the middle of a workday. I mean, how clean are you really getting things when you're trying to work around the public or trying to work around workers? To me, it doesn't make sense. Our cleaners come in when we're gone and they're gone before we get back and things are clean. They are disinfected, they are dusted, they are scrubbed, they are vacuumed.
That changed when COVID, right?
But I was told because the departments, nobody can get along. I've heard that numerous times, so I don't know. I'm just coming up with ideas. I agree with Commissioner Wiltie. This has been going on for a very long time. It is time that this comes to a head. Our window count, with the administrator being over top of our maintenance department, I mean, look how much money that cost us. And a lot of fingers were pointed, but at the end of the day, it was the administrator's fault. That's the oversight.
Well, that didn't really cost us because we only had to pay the windows.
It could have been
The contractor didn't charge.
just extra that I'm saying the overall error.
But I get it, the overall error, I get it, but at the same time, yeah, the train of thought here, it's just, yeah, there needs to be oversight,
And if somebody's sick, like there was, we got some pictures of how the county building looked. If somebody's sick, if you have it outsourced, that ship's covered. It happens. Don't get me wrong. Everybody gets sick. I understand that.
Get it.
But if a company's doing it, that's covered and you come back to a clean office and a clean county building, everything should be very clean right now with all these current illnesses that are.
Well, when I came on board, there was two, we went down to one. The one retired, so we went down to one. And then COVID hit, and of course, the whole country went into berserk. And we haven't changed anything since. We talked about it then. Does this crew need to come in at night, do the work, and then everything's done? I mean, when I've had somebody clean my house, I wasn't there. They cleaned it. When I got home, it was done. Took the check off the table. You know, but I left the check on the table and it was done. And if it didn't get done good enough, I was calling her up saying, hey, you know, there's a couple of things here needs attention next time.
Commissioner Mayhew,
No, I just know that we can't afford to put a boss over the three people. That I know. We turn right around, we're gonna put a deputy in here, and we're gonna pay somebody else the same amount to watch three people.
But just so that you know, that's not what I'm recommending hiring. No.
I don't recommend it either, I'm just saying that if we got a department head for you to be over, we're gonna pay them as the same amount as we're gonna pay the deputy to stand at the door. So we're looking at 140,000, 160,000.
it's got a valid
The
point.
two people.
Commissioner Serbrook,
Number one, I think that probably the administrator / controller should be over top of the maintenance personnel. As far as outsourcing the custodial, I think we should look into it. I think we should probably solicit, do an RFP and just compare. What are we paying our current employees?
it's not gonna hurt. And see if
Exactly.
services are even available and I know they are, but see if we get any bids.
Exactly.
We looked at it back a few years ago about the building department. Aranet County, they contract their building inspectors and mechanical inspectors by the permit. They're contracted. They're paid for by the permit. If there's not a permit out there, they're not gonna get paid. They get paid on activity. We have hourly people that have full benefit packages and everything. Iosco County has a contracted the same way. We talked about it a few years ago. The commission at that time said that the budget, the permits were paying for everything. And at that time, there was no need to change it. So there's no need, we haven't talked about it since. I think any of this stuff should be brought up for conversation. Of course, in the next week, we're gonna just hear all kinds of stuff. And I'm gonna have people coming up to me again and saying, do I need to come to your meeting? And say, yeah, sure, come to the meeting.
My job.
I want you to come to the meeting and tell me all about it.
You know, I don't know if this is a possibility, but having one individual head that oversees the maintenance and the job that the possible outsourcing is doing, kind of like one person in this building, the administrator over top, and then one person that oversees all of this stuff. And if something huge needs fixed, like the furnace, you know, does the RFPs, does assist with all of these projects. That's what the conversation, I think that kind of mimics Mason County that you had told me about.
That's what we need. We have one person who's maintenance supervisor. And his responsibility is to take care of the emergency things that come up as far as repairs. Also to oversee contractors to do big projects and oversee the custodial contractor that we have. And that's the model that we use there. And he was responsible to me. If something wasn't going on, then the complaints related to that department would come to me.
I like that model.
I think we're going too far. I think some of the blame's got to come back on the five of us. That we didn't follow up on some of this stuff. When there was issues, I'm gonna take blame as one commissioner that I didn't follow up and say, do you have a timetable on this? Is this gonna happen? Are you going back and making sure that these things are happening? And I didn't do that with the the previous administrator, and probably should have. Probably should have. Maybe we need to spell this out to the next administrator, that these are the things, and we're gonna expect constant reports on it.
Commissioner Mayhew?
You're right. The other thing is will we have grievance from the union if we outsource?
That's a valid point.
That's the question I had asked.
Oh, yeah, probably.
From my standpoint, you may, and I sent that to the attorney and asked for him to either confirm or that my evaluation was correct, and I have not heard back from him.
So the question has been asked.
Yes.
See, I wouldn't think so, because it's very similar to what we did with the jail. I mean, we're outsourcing our inmates. We laid off 20 some people. I mean, so I don't understand all the unions. So you have asked the question. So it may not even be something that we can do, but I think we can, but we'll see. We don't have those answers. Commissioner, go
That's a
ahead.
good question.
Sorry.
No, go
It
ahead.
just wouldn't be other counties do the same thing. I mean, this is a common practice to outsource or to privatize some services. So, I mean, it's not like we're the only ones, and this is a brand new idea. So
This is our job as far as I'm concerned.
It's our job.
We did not have a union involved. So it
Right. It's
went
different.
a lot smoother.
Well, before I came on board, and probably Mark, and I know like the sheriff, because of the years they've been here, the maintenance department used to be 3 guys here,
It was.
you know, and one retired, and they went down to 2, and then the second one retired, and Chris was the third guy, third wheel, you know. You know, I'm not saying you gotta have 3. No, I'm not saying that even close to that, but those, back in those times, the county had a lot more money. And
Thought they did.
or thought they did, at least, yeah. And I don't want to create positions. I'm really not, you know, we're digging ourselves out of a big hole, and we've all talked about it. Let's keep digging out, and let's not go the other way. And if we just gonna sit here and make up position after position, all we're doing is throwing dirt back in the hole again. And we're not the bottom of the hole yet, and we need to.
Commissioner Wiltie?
Yeah, and we gotta look into options. I think the privatization part, we need to look into it. I mean, like you said, that's our job, right? I mean, I know for me, over the course of business, ever since I left college, I worked for a lot of businesses, owned a lot of businesses. I mean, typically, the majority of the time I've seen people come in and clean is when the workers are out and it's done during the night. You come back in and you work, and at night, or once, you know, or every other night, they come in during the night and clean. So, I mean, we do need to look into these options. I'd like to see the job description for our current maintenance worker. I'd like to see what that description details, and then, you know, you guys are talking about taking some of that work away from him. In the summertime, I think the lawn mowing is a pretty big part of that. So if we're taking work away, we really need to look at that job and that description and find out what exactly is being done with that job. And I mean, so there's a lot of things that we have to look into it.
And I'm the one is bouncing ideas right now, so I don't know necessarily, and I'm directing this towards what Commissioner Scott said as far as creating a new position. Yes, we just created one that we feel all 5 of us felt was necessary. We'll see what cost savings, if any, for this outsourcing, but then it also, I hate to say maybe eliminating positions, but oversight, it would be eliminating positions, and that individual would be responsible for multiple duties.
Well, you're just looking for somebody to check your fire extinguishers and your smoke
That's something
detectors
that
and your
can- that-
AEDs. Well, there
We
you
need to
go.
visit all of that.
If he's not cutting the lawn, he should be checking that. You were talking about just hiring somebody to overlook all that.
Have a facilities manager.
Yeah. Well, the one idea was to have one person underneath the administrator that would oversee all these operations.
Everything from maintenance to housekeeping.
Right.
I mean, and any other duties in
Yeah,
between. And
yeah.
right now you have three people doing that this one person would oversee all of this.
Well, if you take some duties away from somebody, then they can assume some of those other duties.
Let's find out from the legal department if we're even able to do it. There's no reason to continue to beat this until we know for sure, but it is definitely on the table.
Yeah, I've made the request.
Okay. Commissioners' comments. Commissioner Wiltie.
Just comments, no reports, right?
Correct.
Good.
Commissioner Scott.
Senior moment. No, I'm fine. I'm good.
Commissioner Serbrook.
Nothing.
Commissioner Mayo. I will not be here next week. I hopefully should be able to Zoom. But I will not be present. So public comment in the room. Come on up. Hi.
Hi, my name is Cindy Martin and I'm with Tawas Bay Edgeworks. Do you want me to say Anders?
You can sit, have a seat.
And I'm here in reference to the Veterans Memorial that's going to be moved.
Okay.
And I've got some handouts. I only brought 6. I thought I had one.
All you need,
Okay,
unless
perfect.
you want to keep one to read.
Go here?
Yeah.
Okay. It's like, I know there was 5 pieces.
Can you hand me that? I got this cord situation here behind me. It's a bomb. I'm so I need this.
So sorry.
So essentially, I just want to help maybe provide some solutions or ideas with the move. Mr. Scott, Commissioner Scott, I was watching some of the previous
Meetings?
yeah, and they are pretty entertaining. There is some entertainment value there. But
Please don't put fuel on his fire.
right, I did notice that there's, like a landscaping company came up with a schematic drawing. But I just wanted to let you know I didn't know if we were thinking about moving some of the memorial or leaving it intact. We could reutilize the bronzes in a way.
Have you been in contact with the committee that's taking the lead on this?
I have talked with LaDonna on it, and she suggested that I come and just kind of talk to you guys.
Really?
Commissioner Wiltse's on that board as well, or committee as well. Commissioner Serbrook is as well.
We just
I
today.
I know this isn't question and answer, but I just want to let you know if it's okay. That I did forward, you sent the email to me originally, and I did forward that to LaDonna.
Yep.
But she hasn't really. Actually, we just met today, prior to this meeting. So I will follow up with her. Okay.
Yeah, we're willing to help. The vets projects are really exciting in the community. So usually there's a lot of different fundraising opportunities from doing like an honor wall where, the public could essentially pay to have their family member who is a veteran put on the wall, and that would help
Really?
offset.
Stay in touch with Mark and. Yeah.
Okay.
You guys run this.
That was part of our discussion today, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Run this through the committee.
We did the Firemen's Memorial here in town.
Yeah, I'd recommend you attending the committee meeting. They bring things once it's finalized back to us.
Okay.
But I would run that to them. But thank you.
Yeah, we'd love to have you at the next meeting.
Do you guys know when your next meeting is?
It's the third Thursday at 3:00 right here.
Okay, perfect.
March 19th.
Okay, okay. And that is probably what LaDonna said, because she did say 3, but then I was like, the meetings are at 5:30, so I misunderstood.
No, it's fine, but thank you.
Thank you for coming. Any other public comment in the room? Come on up.
Just to let you know, we are planning your audit presentation for next Thursday. Fabian and I will meet with the auditors at 5, and then she'll have a presentation sheet on your agenda for.
What she said, that's what Fabian said.
You get to be gone, I gotta sit through it.
Saying, everything went well?
Yeah, we haven't met with them yet, but Nora likes that.
Fantastic.
So.
Any other public comment? Any public comment on the phone? No public comment on the phone, motion to adjourn? Support?
Sure.
Your turn.
Have a good night, everybody.
What, baby?